Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to my channel. With the whole coronavirus situation right now, and since I haven't been able to leave the house much, I've actually been catching up on a lot of my reading. And I came across a very interesting article, and let's just say, buckle up, because the Barcelona drama just keeps on heating up. Before we get into the actual drama that's unfolding with Barcelona, we have to introduce two key figures in this situation. Number one being Josep Bartomeu, who is the active president of Barcelona. And the second person is Emily Rousseau. Rousseau is one of the vice presidents of the club right now, or was, but we'll get to that in just a moment. And now for some background information regarding Bartomeu and his presidency as Barcelona president. And it would be a fair assessment to say that his presidency has been chock full of errors at every turn. Just to name a few mistakes under his presidency, first let's go ahead and take it back to January of 2020 when he sacked Ernesto Valverde without a replacement lined up. And they eventually had to go through 3 different people who said no to taking the job as coach of the club before eventually finding Quique Setién, who was their 4th option. Again, I will stress, he was not their first option, but Quique Setién took over after Valverde was unceremoniously sacked. And many backed Valverde after this, saying a club of Barcelona standards should not be sacking Valverde the way they did. It was mid-season, it was very much a thanks but you're gone kind of situation, and it really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Moving on now, let's talk about his failure to strengthen the squad during the January transfer window, and it eventually culminated in a very desperate execution of a loophole in order to sign Braithwaite. So this was already after the transfer window had closed in January, keep in mind. Barcelona basically said, hey, Ousmane Dembele got injured, we don't have a forward now, it's an emergency, you've got to let us sign somebody now. It made them look very weak, very desperate, and many clubs would argue that they got awarded for poor planning. Not the best look. Probably the biggest scandal to date over his presidency, though, and what is now being referred to as Barçagate, is the scandal over the alleged use of social media companies to discredit Barcelona's own players. Many argue that Bartomeu did this in order to promote his own self-image and put himself above the reputation and credibility of the players. Obviously a power move which did not sit well with many of the fans, the players, or the board of directors. And last but not least, with the whole coronavirus situation right now, and really it didn't come as a surprise when Messi slammed the board for claiming that the players did not want to take a 70% pay cut to their wages in order to benefit the club and the staff, who, let's just face it, are under very dire financial straits right now. We'll come back to that in just a moment. So just to recap, he sacked Valverde mid-season without a replacement lined up. He did not sign a forward during the January transfer window and had to use a loophole in order to get that. Barçagate, enough said. And finally, Messi having to go to Instagram in order to blast the directors for a second time in probably 2 or 3 months. So now that we're all caught up, now we can finally talk about what's actually going on and the article that I found just a few days ago. Josep Bartomeu is basically going Cersei Lannister in Barcelona. If you've never watched Game of Thrones, you just can't tell what the Barcelona board of directors are thinking or doing, because they'll say one thing but then turn around and do another thing. And he is planning on wiping out the board of directors who have criticized him dictator style. I'm not even playing around here. Josep Bartomeu has basically told his board of directors to put in their resignations or else they will be fired in the future. This is where Emily Rousseau comes into play, because he is the vice president who spoke out about this in the media. I'd like to point out this part in the article in particular. As recently as January, Rousseau had been confirmed as Barcelona's vice president. Bartomeu, however, has cut ties with the official and wants him out, prompting the discarded director to launch strong criticisms of his regime. Some more background information before we move forward. It is important to note that during the Barçagate scandal, the board of directors was actually going to hold a meeting in order to move the Barcelona presidential elections a year forward. As it is now, the Barcelona elections are going to take place in 2021. What Emily Rousseau and the other board of directors wanted was to move the elections from 2021 to 2020 in order to remove Bartomeu as soon as possible. This is what many would argue caused this situation that we're in now, because Bartomeu is out for revenge in order to get all of these directors who wanted him out sooner and remove them from their positions before they can get together and scheme away, even though Bartomeu's the real villain here. Continuing on with the article though, Rousseau was quoted as saying, "Bartomeu told me he wanted to revamp the board and he was annoyed with certain directors, myself included. He told me that there had been leaks which upset the players and that I was casting doubt on the board's work. I told Bartomeu that I speak to the press but I do not cause leaks, and I have never criticized the players." And unfortunately, as of the time of this recording, Emily Rousseau as well as 5 other directors of the board have turned in their resignation to Bartomeu. In another article, they were quoted as saying, "We hereby want to communicate that the directors below signatories have transferred to President Bartomeu our decision to irrevocably resign from our status as FC Barcelona executives. We have reached this point by not being able to reverse the criteria and forms of management of the club in the face of the important challenges of the future and in particular from the new post-pandemic scenario. We must also highlight our disillusion over the unfortunate social media episode known as Barçagate, of which we found out through the press." So there we have it, everybody. Bartomeu has succeeded in his coup d'etat of his board of directors. It is absolute chaos in the Barcelona boardroom right now. Not only are they facing the coronavirus situation right now with the very significant financial struggles for the club. Keep in mind the club has over $800 million worth of debt right now. Add to that they have no revenue coming in right now because of matches, TV sponsorship, or from tourists going to the Barcelona Museum, just as an example. Also worth mentioning, the Barcelona players' wages make up over 50% of the club's overall budget. Not an ideal situation to be in. Bartomeu is absolutely destroying this club from within. He is causing more chaos in an already stressful situation with the coronavirus still rampaging across Spain, which is one of the most affected countries in Europe. I want to know what you guys think though. What do you think of Bartomeu? Is he just trying to get rid of everybody out of revenge? Or is he just trying to wipe the slate clean and then get in new people so that they can rebuild from the bottom up? Thank you so much to everybody who has made it until the end of the video. I wanted to get this news out as soon as I could to everybody. And if you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to give us a like as it helps support the channel and it means the world to me. If you don't want to miss any of our future videos, be sure to subscribe and share this video with a friend. We also had a recent addition to our player analysis video where we talked about Neymar. I'll have a tag up here if you are interested. Go ahead and see that. And go ahead and check out our playlist with all of our player analysis. Player analysis videos. You know what I mean. Thank you so much again to everybody, and I hope you're all being safe during these crazy times, and as always, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.